Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I'm going to carry on with part 2 of my Australian CR1M ration review. Now today I want to have a look at the lunch and dinner components. Now if you missed the first part 1, please go back and check out that video where I did the unpacking and I ate the breakfast components. This ration is 5 years past its best before date. It cost me over £100 UK, including the shipping all the way from the other side of the world. So let's get these out on a tray and see what the lunch and dinner look and taste like. And welcome back to part 2 of this very extensive Australian CR1M. Now in part 2 I'm going to take a look at the lunch and dinner components. If you did miss part 1, please nip back and see that video where I did the opening, contents and took a look at the breakfast. But this is the second video and I'm going to take a look at their lunch and dinner. Now, to save a little bit of time, I've already got the components that I'd consider for lunch from that ration out on a tray. For lunch, I'm going to have the noodles, which I've already prepared in a bowl. I'm going to have that with the lamb korma. Take a look at their chocolate bar. Have that with a cup of tea. Take a look at the creamy mushroom soup. I have here the isotonic drinks powder and the Jack Link's steak bar. So, like I say, to save a little bit of time, I've already pre-boiled the noodles. Now this was produced in 2017, so unfortunately it looks like the components that came with this have sort of compromised. It's, as you can see, it's sort of gone fatty and gloopy. The seasoning might be okay, so I can add the seasoning, but the soy sauce and the other seasonings look like they've gone past their best. But I need to carry on with what I need to do next is make the teas. So these need a little bit of preparation. So one of the teas is the tea bag. It just simply says tea bag. Produced again in 2017. So this one is 7 years plus old. As seen in menu 1, this is an old ration. Had it for quite a while because of the price. And now it's out of date, so a lot of this is starting to suffer. This is Bell brand tea. I'm sure that is a brand known in Australia. And to that, using the Australian spoon, I'm going to give that half a mug to three quarters of a mug. We'll give that 3/4 of a mug of water. To that, I'm going to add some more of the non-dairy creamer. This is a 15-gram large packet. Use some of this in the breakfast, so there is some left here to add to the tea. So I'll add a bit of the creamer to the tea. Also, I do like a little bit of sugar, so we'll add a little bit of this 7-gram sugar to the tea also. Like I said in part 1, and I've just mentioned again, this is an aging ration, so I've got to be careful now what I eat and be very careful on the state of everything that I open. They also have a chocolate ration, 50 grams, so we'll have a look at that. I'm expecting this to be bloomed. But no. So that is half the bar, no blooming. Very surprising, very surprising. I also have a creamy mushroom soup. So again, 2017 manufacture. So a lot of these packages are starting to lose their grip, but that one still looks okay, so hopefully the mushroom soup will be good. So typical looking instant style soup granules, and again I'll give that some more hot water. that called for 200 millilitres, which is just over half of one of these mugs. So we'll give that a good mix. Looks like there's croutons in there, or some other sort of floaties. And I'm just going to get some tissue. I'll find some at the side here, just to wipe the spoon. Because now I'm going to go into the isotonic drinks powder. This is for 500 or 600 milliliter. This is a 370 or thereabouts milliliter glass, so I'm going to try and get around about half of the powder. Now this looks like it's a bit compromised, gone clumpy with age. Very chemical smell. That is approximately half. So I shall put the rest to one side. Oh no, just drop some of that in my soup. That is not good. Let's get that out quickly. Orange flavoured soup is never going to be good. So as we can see, that is now past its best. It's lumpy, clumpy. Hopefully she'll still be okay. And we'll give that a little over 3/4 of a glass on a good old mix. We do have orange built there. Let's get that cleaned up a little bit. Moving on round, we have the Jack Link's peppered steak bar. So just a jerky, and that was just a oxygen remover falling out of the packet there. Last but not least, we have the lamb korma. Now this has been boiling for about 10 to 12 minutes. Get it nice and hot. There was also an instant mashed potato, so it was a choice of mashed potato or noodles with this lamb korma. I thought the noodles might be the better option, but equally you could have gone with the mashed potato, but that will be in the next meal. And last but not least, the noodles, just basic noodles. I've followed the instructions there and I've boiled for about 3 minutes, and it does say add the flavourings, but as you can see those flavourings look a little bit compromised, so I'm not going to add those ones. Hopefully the seasonings are okay, but again we shall see. No, the seasonings are gone. They're not a powder anymore, they're a sheet. I'm not going to add that to the noodles. That is just going to ruin what could be a decent noodle. So as you can see, that was the powdered seasonings, also past their best. But the noodles are plain simple noodles. I'm sure they will be okay. And we'll come back round, and this tea has had time to do its thing. So I'll start where I'd like to normally start, and that is with the tea. So it's a medium looking sort of brew. Again, not the best. That's a little bit on the cheap tasting side, the sort of store brand quality. If Bell is a well-known brand in Australia, it isn't. It doesn't come through or survive very well. It's weak. It's tea flavoured hot drink, but certainly not the best by any means. We should just give this soup another stir. Okay, so I have here now some soup. Very basic flavouring. The croutons are crunchy, not overly salted. It is, as you expect, an instant style soup. I think that is still okay. Doesn't seem to have any untoward aftertaste. Some thickness to it. It's just a basic cup of soup, instant style soup. Again, not the best quality. And take a look at this orange, which had suffered a little. Chemical flavoured orange. Again, not the best sort of orange flavoured drink out there. You can taste the chemicals. It's sweet enough, there's plenty of sweetness. Typical Ration style artificial orange, but again, not the best quality. So, up to now, the 3 liquid beverages, including the soup, are drinkable, but they are not the best. I don't think it's age of any of them. I think that's just how they were, but they are drinkable, usable drinks. I think I need to have a look at which one should I go for first. I think I'll go for the noodles first. So, not the noodles, sorry, the lamb korma. So lamb korma is a well-known curry dish here in the UK. So a little bit of a mix. I can see chunks of lamb. I think that is spinach. There is some of these spices there. So I'll have a little taste of the sauce first. Very mild curry. The lamb tastes more like chicken. Wow. Excuse me. Had to spit that out. Wow. Disappointing. It's not survived. Had a piece of the meat. It tasted like chicken. It's supposed to be lamb. That's obviously told you something is wrong. And then as you bit it, there was a very acidic, unnatural taste going on there. I think these retort pouches, these Australian retort pouches, do not last much longer past their best before dates. This is 7 years old. I would expect retort pouches to last longer. Well, that's not good. Certainly failed. Looks like it might have been an interesting dish before it's gone past its best gone past its best, but as it is there, certainly beyond eating. Just need to wipe my spoon. I'm just going to wash that in the water I've got left there just to give that another clean. It's contaminated now. Oh. So, noodles. Just plain simple noodles now, no seasoning, should be okay. There's very little that can go wrong with what is basically just flour. Basic, simple ramen noodles. Now, very dry without any seasoning. I could, if there was a disaster, I could add some of the soup, I'm sure. So I'm going to add a little bit of the soup mix, just to give those noodles a little bit of flavour. So now I've got onion soup, mushroom soup flavour. Certainly could do that. That has given those plain simple noodles a nice lift. And with the loss of the korma, that would be the way to go. Add the soup to the noodles and get yourself a mushroom noodle flavoured dish. Now we have here a Jack Link's peppered steak bar. Again, that's oily and it does seem very tough. Wow. My goodness. Again, even the peppered steak has suffered. best before October 19. So it is now 24, 5 years past its best before. Even the Jack Link's pepper steak. There's a very, very acidic background taste. Well, I'm seriously disappointed. I think it's only about the soup that's going to survive this. Let's have a little sip of that. And a sip of the orange to refresh my palate a little. So moving on to the chocolate bar. So the chocolate bar looks like it survived. No blooming. Nice snap. There is 8 cubes. Firm chocolate bar. Chemical taste. Becoming a very typical sort of Western, or should I say, European style chocolate, but not Eastern European. They're quite good. More like the UK style, Australian style. Which means not the best quality. Milk chocolate is edible. It's a sort of chocolate you'd describe as possibly cooking chocolate, low grade chocolate, but it's not bloomed, probably because of the chemical content in there. But again, it's chocolate, but disappointing in the quality. So overall, I'm very disappointed that this didn't last. It was one of my most expensive rations, cost me over £100 UK to buy. For that reason, I kept it as a trophy, didn't want to use it because I'll probably never get one ever again. And now, unfortunately, I think I've kept it too long, and virtually everything except the soup has suffered to a point where I wouldn't trust eating anymore. But join me in a couple of seconds when I come back and look at the dinner or evening meal components, and hopefully a few more of those survived. So join me in a moment. And welcome back to part 2 of this Australian CR1M ration review. And for part 2, I'm going to take a look at the dinner or the evening meal components. And for that, we have a chocolate flavoured protein energy drink. There is some biscuits jam sandwich. We have spaghetti bolognese as the mains. To go with them, we have some crackers, some cream crackers. There is a tin of processed cheddar cheese, some instant mashed potatoes, and a fruit bar raspberry. So, need to start with things that need a little bit of preparation. And for this one, the most important one I think is the instant mashed potato. This actually says open pack and add 250 ml or 1 cup of boiling water and stir. So it's a sealable bag, so I shall just open it on the tear strips. I think most people have seen instant mash before, instant mashed potato, and that's just, let's just open it as a little gusseted pouch. That's exactly what it looks like, just an instant mashed potato powder. Now I do have here a 250 milliliter 1 cup measure, so we can get it exactly right. And I'm going to give it just slightly what it's asking for, because as I always say, these instants you can add but you can't take away, and I don't particularly like my mashed potato too sloppy anyway. So that's about 225 milliliters I think, and we should do as per instructed. Add that to the cup, add that to the cup, to the sachet, and give that a good stir, trying to get it down to the bottom. And straight away it's gone a little bit dry, so I should have just gone with the instructions this time. But like I keep saying, I can always add, but I can't take it back out. And that's starting to look like mashed potato should. And now I've mixed it in there, because I can, because I have my trusty bowl, so I'm going to add the contents to that. And we'll just keep mixing. Keep mixing that all together. That looks like there is some herbs in there. There's some greenery. So that is just typical mashed looking potato. The other thing that needs a little bit of preparation is this hospital formula energy drink or protein drink, which contains a whole host. I've just told that for you. You can pause if you want to. Hopefully that zooms in. Whole host of vitamins and minerals. So again, add milk or water to taste. I have no milk, so I'm going to add water. So it looks like a chocolate drinking chocolate. And because I've got mashed potato on that spoon, I'm going to bring in the USMRE spoon, just so I can stir in some water. Very thick looking chocolate drink. I think that might have been better looking at it, mixing it with hot water. Very lumpy. Keep that stirring going. Very lumpy, very thick, chocolatey drink there, sticking all over the spoon, not mixing well. Did say hot or cold water. I've used cold. Maybe hot would have been the way. Keep going. That's probably the best I'm going to get there. Put that to one side. And moving on down, take a look at the biscuits jam sandwich. Very similar to biscuits we have here in the UK. They feel a little bit soft now. I have already used the tin opener to open the processed cheddar cheese, but all I've done is literally use the tin opener. I've not opened it and done anything with it. The tin opener had a little bit of trouble with that little tin, but there is a tin of cheese. We also have biscuits, cream crackers. Again, these are something we have in the UK, cream crackers. So it'd be interesting to see if they're the same. They are, but rather smashed. So I'm just going to put some of them. They're very simple, plain wheat cracker. Looks like there was 4 or 5 in there, quite broken. We have the fruit bar, raspberry, and I think this is just crushed fruits or compressed fruits. So little bar, a raspberry bar there. And last but not least, we'll have a look at the mains, which is the spaghetti bolognese. And let's hope this has fared well, better than the curry, the korma. So it looks very much like canned spaghetti bolognese you can get here in the UK. So get as much out as we can. 250 grams. So not the largest pack. So some canned looking spaghetti bolognese, and I've got a spare glass there sitting doing nothing, so I'm going to have a palate cleanser and some water. So start where I normally like to start. We'll have a look at this rather lumpy chocolate. So it's like a very watery shake, chocolate flavour shake. Just like drinking chocolate, just like a very thin shake. I do think now this would have been better with hot water, making a hot drinking chocolate, but it's very chocolatey, very reminiscent of a chocolate milk. It's still tasty, it's still enjoyable, there's nothing wrong with it, age has not touched it. It's a still enjoyable chocolatey drink. Spill my mouth. Now we have a look at the mashed potato, so that's reconstituted nicely. There's little green bits in there. It's regular mashed potato, not overly salty like some instant mashes are. Cannot tell what the green pieces are in there, but a nice addition to a ration. I haven't seen this in any other ration apart from this. It's a nice, enjoyable, tasty side dish. Reconstituted nice, a nice filler. Moving on round, I'll move around to the spaghetti bolognese. So this is very much like canned spaghetti bolognese, tinned spaghetti bolognese you get here in the UK in looks and appearance. Similar in taste as well. Not overly salted, not overly peppered. A nice tomato based sauce. Not a lot of spaghetti in there. More meat from spaghetti. Little pieces of tomato. Looking nice as nice tomato chunks. Fresh tomato. Looks like our canned spaghetti. Doesn't taste like it. With the chunks of fresh tomato, it tastes fresher. Nice, tasty, enjoyable, tomato based. Just crying out to be added to the mashed potato. That's the combination. Mashed potato with spaghetti in the tomato sauce. A good, good, filling, enjoyable combination. We also have cream crackers. These are very similar to the cream crackers we have here in the UK. Nice snap still. Surprisingly still have some crunch. They are just that, cream crackers in the UK. Everybody knows what they are. If you're not from the UK, you don't have cream crackers. They're just a very light wheat crisp cracker, which tend to go with anything. You can put sweet or savoury on these. Nice bit of crunch for the mains. But let's try this cheese, processed cheddar cheese. Just that, despite its age, it's not showing age. Nice cheese. We often have cheese and crackers, so cheese and crackers. Good combination again. Cheese and crackers. This cheese, I'm sure, will also mix well. Excuse fingers. Also mix well in the mash to make some cheesy mashed potato. Get that mixed in a little. So a bit of cheesy mashed potato. Oh yeah. As well, I'm sure cheese will also go with the pasta. So mix a little bit in there. Cheese in the spaghetti bolognese. So cheesy spaghetti bolognese with a little bit of mashed potato. Wow. So many enjoyable flavour combinations, and none of these seem to have suffered the test of time like the lunch did. Another Drink of the chocolate and a palate cleanser. Moving on, take a look at the biscuits, jam biscuits. So look like nice short bread biscuits, cookies. A little bit soft, but not as soft as I was expecting. Amazing how all the components I picked out for the lunch had suffered, but all the components for the dinner have survived. That's how it goes. Nice crisp biscuit, jam centre is nice centred jam, strawberry jam. Now the raspberry bar. A jellified sweet. Strange looking, but tasting just like a jelly, or in the US a gummy, raspberry flavoured, nice, sweet, enjoyable. So overall, I'm going to actually finish this as my meal. It's enjoyable, tasty, everything there is of good quality. Join me in a minute for one small little video where I take a look at the final few components which I didn't quite make into a meal. So join me in a couple of seconds to have a look at the final few components. See you in a moment. And welcome back to the final part of this Australian CR1M ration, and the few components that I've got left which didn't quite make it into a meal is there is some bread, produce of New Zealand. Be interesting to see if that lasted for 7 years. We also have a tube of their strawberry jam. This is what I'm interested in. We have some of their yeast extract, which I've heard is very similar to our Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. I really like to see if that is similar. We have some M&Ms, and like M&Ms, I think most people know what the original candies are. But first off, let's have a look at this bread. This is packed on January 2018. So be interesting to see if that survived all this time. No open tear strips, so I'm going to bring in my friend just to slit across the top there. So very strange looking square of bread. It seems to be thicker at one end than at the other. I shall just snap it. It looks good, still feels soft in the middle. Let's take a little bite. Very dry, has a little bit of a malty taste. I'm not sure if that survived or not. Feels spongy, but a strange malty aftertaste. I've just spat that out. I'm not going to risk any more because I'm not sure. I'd love to know if that was the taste of the fresh bread or whether there's some mould starting to develop. I'm not going to go any further. So I'll have a look at the M&Ms. I have got some of the crackers, a couple of cream crackers that survived, so I'll use that to try the jam and the Marmite. So M&Ms, chocolate M&Ms. Again, expired 2019. So they are what we all know, chocolate covered discs. They just smell okay. Still got the crispy shell. The chocolate doesn't seem to have bloomed inside. Probably not as fresh as they once were, but they are still regular milk chocolate M&Ms. They've survived. Slightly stale, but still eatable. I think we're going to have a look at this strawberry jam. It's in a sealed tube, so I'm hoping that this has survived also. I'll try some first on the spoon. So that does look just like normal strawberry jam. Tastes like jam. Nothing wrong with that. Try some on the cracker. As we say, these cream crackers, they go sweet or savoury, so a little bit of jam on the cracker. Would have been nice to try on the bread, but I'm not sure. Nice, sweet strawberry jam. What can I say? Jam is jam. Still in good quality. Was sealed, so that's probably helped. Still usable. Nice jam. Now this is the one, the yeast extract. Vegemite, I think it's called in Australia. Or a similar one is Marmite here in the UK. Now I'm not going to try it straight on the spoon because that is not something you would do in the UK. So, looks a lot thicker. I don't know if that's down to age, but that looks a lot thicker than Marmite. Marmite is not quite as thick as that, and we spread it thinly. So nice, very thin coating on the cracker. Salty, extremely salty. Wow, even that small amount is an excessive amount of salt. It is different. Marmite and Vegemite are not the same. I don't think that's gone off with age. They are very similar, but this is very salty, more salty than Marmite. And I hate Marmite and I don't like Vegemite, but now I've experienced it. It is different. It's not the same. Still, if you like it, there's nothing wrong with that, I'm sure. But personally, like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. Your yeast extract or Vegemite, I hate also. So I won't be having no more of that. Last but not least, we have a packet of Werther's Originals. Now again, I think most of these are available in most countries. So they're cream candies, caramel cream candies. I still have a little cold, so if it excuse any heavy breathing or sniffing. These gone a little bit sticky now. They are getting on a little bit. They've actually gone soft. Expired 18 for the first 19. They have expired. They're soft. They're normally quite firm candies. That was extremely soft, and something just doesn't taste quite right. Perhaps damp, perhaps a little bit of mould, but I'm sure these would have been excellent extra additions. We do have one or two little sundries, a tomato ketchup sachet, Tabasco sauce, an extra tea, an extra coffee, an extra sugar, but that is the contents of the Australian CR1M. Just get the bag. Menu B. So overall, this could be the world's largest ration. Certainly I think would have been one of the tastiest and the most mixable items, but unfortunately through my own stupidity and not wanting to use it up because it's a once in a lifetime experience, I let it spoil a little bit, and that's a real shame. But overall, an excellent 24-hour ration. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.